The world is not ending. It is already dead. Imagine a place where the horizon burns white, a blinding expanse of salt and pulverized bone that stretches into eternity. There is no green here. There is no shade. There is only the sun, her angry red eye staring down from a sky choked with volcanic ash. The temperature is not just a number. It is a physical weight, pressing down on the earth with enough force to crush the spirit of anything that dares to draw breath. The air shimmers, distorting the distance, turning the mountains into wavering ghosts. In this furnace, something moves. They emerge from the heat haze like hallucinations. Massive, lumbering, inevitable. The Scutosaurus herd doesn't walk. They grind the geology beneath them. Leading them is the matriarch. She is a titan of the old world, a biological tank designed for a war against nature itself. Her skin is not merely hide. It is a landscape of osteoderms, knobby interlocking plates of bone that form a suit of armor, impenetrable to almost any predator. She weighs as much as a heavy truck, and every step is a seismic event. The sound is the heartbeat of the wasteland, but this fortress is running on empty. Inside the citadel of her body, her organs are screaming. Her heart, a massive engine of muscle, pumps thick sludge-like blood through overheated veins. You can hear it, the wheezing, bellows-like sound of her breathing. It is the sound of a machine overheating. She opens her mouth, tasting the air. It is dry, bitter, and tastes of copper. She is not migrating towards food. She is fleeing from the heat death behind her. The herd follows her in a phalanx, a wall of living rock. They bump shoulders, a silent communication of solidarity. But the desert has no mercy for brotherhood. To the left, a younger male stumbles. His front leg buckles. The armor that protects him also imprisons him. It is too heavy to lift once the energy reserves are gone. He bellows, a low, mournful trumpet sound that is instantly swallowed by the wind. The matriarch pauses. Her massive head swings around. Her eyes small and dark, fix on the fallen. She waits. The instinct to protect is strong, written into her genetic code. But the instinct to survive is louder. The heat is rising. If she stops, she cooks. She turns back to the horizon. She takes a step. The herd follows. They leave the fallen one behind. He is not a victim of a predator. He is a casualty of the march. But he is not alone for long. Far out on the periphery, parallel to the herd, a shadow detaches itself from a rock. It is low, sleek, and terrifyingly patient. A Lycanops. It does not attack. It does not need to. It simply trots, matching the pace of the giants. It is the scout, the undertaker, waiting for the inevitable collapse. The matriarch sees it. She knows what it is, but she cannot chase it. She can only endure. The smell hits her first. It is not the fresh scent of rain or the earthy aroma of wet soil. It is sharp, pungent, and offensive. It smells like rotten eggs broken on hot asphalt. sulfur. The herd crests a ridge of sharp rocks, and there it is, the oasis. It is a cruel joke of nature. A shrinking depression in the earth, filled with water that glows a sickly, opaque green. Steam rises from the surface, twisting into the stagnant air. This is not a paradise. It is a chemical sump. But to a creature that has not drunk in 3 days, it is the most beautiful thing on earth. The discipline of the march breaks. The walking fortresses accelerate, their heavy bodies sliding down the embankment, crashing into the mud. The matriarch wades in. The mud is hot, bubbling with escaping gases, but it is wetter than the air. She lowers her muzzle and drinks. The water is bitter. It burns the throat. It is heavy with dissolved minerals and volcanic runoff. As she swallows, she is ingesting the very poison that is killing the world. But it buys her another day of life. The air here is different too. It is heavier, pooling in the valley floor. The carbon dioxide levels are dangerously high, nearly double what you breathe today. It feels like breathing through a wet blanket. The herd pants, their ribs heaving, trying to filter oxygen from the soup of toxins. But the matriarch does not just drink. She has a mission that overrides her own thirst. She wades to the center of the pool, where a sandbar rises slightly above the green sludge. Here the ground is damp but firm. She begins to dig. Her massive clawed feet shovel the earth with mechanical precision. She is not cooling herself. She is building a vault. She lowers her massive bulk into the depression. Her breathing changes short, sharp grunts of effort. Then it happens. A clutch of eggs, white and leathery, spills into the dark, wet earth. They are soft, fragile, pulsating with life. These are not just eggs. They are the future of her species. They are the only reason she has walked 1,000 miles through hell. She covers them gently with the warm, toxic mud. Now, the trap is sprung. Before the eggs, she was a nomad. She could leave this poison well. She could keep walking. But now, she is anchored. The walking fortress has become a stationary bunker. She stands over the mound, her legs locking into place like pillars. She looks out at the rim of the valley. The sun is setting, painting the sky in bruises of purple and violent orange. And on the ridge, silhouetted against the dying light, the single Lycanops is joined by another. Then another. They sit, watching. They know she cannot leave. They know she is guarding something precious. And they know that in this valley, the air itself is an ally to the patient. The matriarch lets out a low rumble, a vibration that ripples the green water around her ankles. She does not retreat. She waits. The siege has begun. Night does not bring relief. It only brings blindness. The sun sinks below the jagged horizon, but the heat remains trapped in the valley, held down by the blanket of volcanic smog. The temperature hovers at a suffocating 40 degrees Celsius. It is a kiln. The darkness is not black. It is a bruised, angry purple, illuminated by the distant rhythmic pulse of the Siberian Traps miles away. The volcanoes are the heartbeat of the apocalypse, flashing silently against the clouds. In the mud pit, the Scutosaurus herd forms a circle. Heads out, tails in, a classic phalanx. They are statues of paranoia. They do not sleep. To sleep here is to die. The air is so thick with humidity and sulfur that every breath feels like drinking warm soup. The matriarch stands at the center, directly over the mound where her eggs lie buried. Her legs are locked, her muscles trembling with the strain of staying vertical. She is the keep of the castle. Then the silence breaks, not with a roar, but with a whisper. Click, click, click. It is the sound of claws on dry rock. The Lycanop's pack has descended from the ridge. They are lighter, faster, designed for agility. They move like liquid shadows, darting in and out of the vision range of the giants. They are the siege breakers. One of them snaps its jaws, a dry, cracking sound, just inches from the snout of a perimeter guard. The guard flinches, shifting his weight. The mud sucks at his feet. The line wavers. This is not a hunt. It is an interrogation. The predators are asking a question. Who is weak? Who is tired? But the Lycanops are just the infantry. The heavy artillery is yet to arrive. The ground vibrates. It is a low-frequency tremor that the matriarch feels in her gut before she hears it. The Lycanops scatter, making way for the king. He emerges from the gloom like a nightmare, taking physical form. The Inostrancevia. He is massive, a gorgonopsid at the absolute peak of his evolution. He is not built for running. He is built for butchery. His skull is enormous, dominated by two saber teeth that extend past his lower jaw like twin daggers. He walks with a swagger, a heavy, confident gait. He stops at the edge of the mud. He does not roar. He simply exhales. A cloud of steam erupts from his nostrils, smelling of old blood. He looks at the matriarch. He ignores the others. He knows she is the anchor. If she falls, the wall crumbles. He lies down on the dry bank, crossing his heavy paws and watches her. His eyes catch the reflection of the distant lava. He is willing to wait. The night stretches on, an eternity of heavy breathing and the staring contest. Between the fortress and the executioner. Dawn breaks, but there is no sun. There is only a red diffusion of light through the ash layer. The valley looks like a photograph developed in blood. The oxygen levels in the depression have dropped overnight. The carbon dioxide, heavier than air, has pooled in the crater like an invisible flood. The Scutosaurus herd is drowning in open air. Their movements are sluggish. Their eyes are wide and glassy. Hypercapnia is setting in. The brain starts to misfire. Panic begins to override discipline. The rookie, the young male who stumbled earlier, can take it no more. The instinct to flee the poison air overpowers the instinct to stay in formation. He breaks the line. He bellows a sound of sheer delirium and charges toward the ridge, seeking higher ground, seeking a breath that doesn't burn. It is the mistake the enemy has been waiting for. The Lycanop's pack activates instantly. They flow over the rocks like water bursting a dam. They don't attack his head. They slash at his hamstrings, nipping at his soft underbelly. The rookie screams, spinning in the mud, trapped in a whirlwind of teeth and claws. He is being eaten alive just 10 meters from the safety of the herd. The matriarch watches. Her duty is to the eggs beneath her feet. The logic of the wild demands she stay. The survival of the species is buried in the mud, not bleeding on the bank. But the biology of a mother is not cold logic. It is hot, chemical, and flawed. She hears the distress call of her kin. The fortress decides to open its gates. With a roar that shakes the stagnant air, the matriarch charges. She accelerates with terrifying speed for a creature of her bulk. She is a living battering ram. She slams into the fray. Her shoulder checks a Lycaenops mid-air, sending the predator spiraling into the rocks. With the sound of snapping ribs, she swings her massive head, the bony knobs acting like maces, clearing a circle around the rookie. For a moment, she is a god of war. The smaller predators scatter, yipping in pain and surprise. She nudges the rookie, urging him back to the mud. But she has made a fatal error. She has left the center. She has left the eggs. From the corner of her eye, she sees movement. The Inostrancevia is no longer lying down. He is standing, and he is not looking at her. He is looking at the exposed, undefended mound of earth in the center of the pool. The heavy weapon has been armed. The matriarch turns, but the mud slows her turn. She is heavy. He is fast. The roar of the Inostrancevia rips through the valley, louder than the thunder. The duel is no longer a siege. It is an execution. The sky does not darken. It bleeds. A sudden pressure drop hits the valley, like a hammer. The wind shifts, reversing instantly, carrying with it a wall of debris from the Siberian Traps. It is not just dust. It is a curtain of red ash pumice and acidic grit. The red storm has arrived, and it brings the apocalypse with it. The matriarch ignores the changing weather. She ignores the stinging grit that bombards her eyes. She sees only the Inostrancevia moving toward her exposed nest. She bellows a sound of pure, primal desperation and throws her weight forward. She is no longer a strategic fortress. She is a battering ram powered by panic. The Inostrancevia turns to meet her. He does not flinch. He is the master of this arena. He lowers his center of gravity, muscles bunching under his scarred hide. When they collide, the sound is sickening, like a car crash in a tunnel. The impact sends a shockwave through the mud. The matriarch uses her sheer mass, shoving the predator back, trying to pin him against the rock wall. She is heavy, an immovable object. But the Inostrancevia is an unstoppable force. He twists, using his agility to slip her guard. His jaws open a horrifying display of biological engineering, and he strikes. He doesn't bite. He slashes. The saber teeth, serrated and sharp as obsidian, drag across the matriarch's armored flank. They find the soft tissue between the plates. Dark smears of blood paint the grey armor. A wet spray of saliva and gore mixes with the falling ash. The matriarch stumbles her leg, giving way under the assault. She tries to rise to shield the eggs, but the predator is relentless. He is a machine of violence, tearing, biting, crushing. Then there is silence. The wind dies as quickly as it rose, leaving behind a world draped in a funeral shroud. The valley is no longer green. It is grey. A thick layer of volcanic ash covers everything: the rocks, the mud, the bodies. It looks like snow, but it is warm and smells of brimstone. In the center of the ruined oasis, the Inostrancevia stands alone. He is the victor. He stands over the fallen bulk of the matriarch. She is still a broken hill of armor, half buried in the ash. The predator pants, his chest heaving. He opens his mouth to roar his dominance, to claim his prize. But the roar never comes. Instead, he coughs. It is a wet, hacking sound. The ash has coated his throat, clogged his nostrils, and filled his lungs with cement-like dust. He shakes his massive head, trying to clear the obstruction, but the air itself is poison. He takes a step, and his legs tremble. The king of the predators is suffocating. He collapses next to his kill, not from injury, but from the atmosphere. He closes his eyes. He has won the battle, but he has lost the war against the planet. Near them, the nest is destroyed. The struggle has churned the earth. The eggs are exposed to the searing heat and the toxic air. They will never hatch. The legacy of the fortress ends here, extinguished in the mud. But the story does not end with the giants. The camera pans down, away from the tragic tableau of the monsters, down to the dirt. The ground shifts. A small snout pushes through the ash. Whiskers twitch. It is the Thrinaxodon. The small fox-like creature crawls out of its deep burrow. It is untouched by the storm, protected by the earth itself. It looks around with beaded black eyes. It sees the mountain of dead flesh that was the matriarch. It sees the gasping, dying form of the Inostrancevia. It does not feel fear. It feels opportunity. But not today. The air is too hot. The world is too hostile. The Thrinaxodon turns back to its hole. It curls its tail around its nose, preserving moisture, regulating its temperature. It prepares to sleep. It will wait. It will wait for the giants to finish dying. It will wait for the air to clear. The screen fades on the image of the burrow closing up, a tiny door locking out the apocalypse. The monsters are gone. The future belongs to the small.